Hi, everyone, and welcome to our usual talk within the Nine-Sided Circle, Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Time. I'm one of your two hosts, Nor Kyle.
And I'm the other one of your two hosts, Mushtaq Ali.
And we have a lot of nice people joining us, cool people, smart people, clever people, crafty people. Both here live.
People here, yes.
And I'm sure on their replay as well. So thank you for being here. So, Mushtaq, we've discovered you're still the more skilled between us at doing the spiel. You want to go for it tonight?
All right, I will go for it tonight, though I think you need more practice. But just this once, I will jump in and say to you, hello, everyone, and welcome to the talk. Especially welcome if you're watching us on YouTube. And if this is your first time watching us on YouTube, you are triply welcome, maybe even quadruply welcome. And I would like to invite you to do a couple of things. First, I would like to invite you to subscribe to our channel. This is probably utterly irrelevant to you, but it's very important to us. And our subscription base is growing towards that magic number 1,000. 1,000 is a mystical number. And the reason that it's mystical is that when we reach 1,000 viewers, 1,000 subscribed people, we will be able to make most, if not all, of the ads that keep appearing on our videos go away, so that you will not be bothered with them. And we would very, very much like to do that, because we never started this channel with the idea of making money off of it. This channel is a giveaway. It's what we do for free. And we want to keep it that way. And we do not like it being exploited by Google or anybody else for commercial purposes. We are non-commercial, non-profit. Boy, are we non-profit. We are about as non-profit as you can get. If we were any more non-profit, we would be sending you money.
We're not there yet, but you know.
Yeah. But yeah, so subscribe to the channel. Click the like button. Leave a comment. If you found this interesting, we would love to talk with you about your thoughts in the comments. And we try and answer every question we get asked, reply to every comment that we can. We'll miss a few here and there. Eventually, 2 years from now, you might get notified, oh, somebody replied to your comment. That would be us finally getting around to it. But most of the time, we try and stay on top of it. And we would love to have you as part of this little soiree that we do every week.
Soiree, I like that.
Yes. Yeah. A salon, as it were.
A salon. Yeah, I got it. So, yeah, that's the spiel.
There's another part of the spiel.
Okay, go for it. I don't want to take it away from you.
Yes, this is December. And every December is the Nine-Sided Circle Fund Drive. It's actually the Fund Drive, because we have a lot of fun with this. But we're going to make it a Fund Drive because, well, we will never, ever charge you for this. We will allow you the privilege of donating to the upkeep of the circle. We have our yearly stuff coming up where we have to pay for disk space so that we can, Zoom, all of this kind of stuff, plus our monthly operating expenses, the internet, things like that we do. So we're going to do some ways to make it fun for you to donate money to the cause. The money doesn't go into our pockets. They go into what it takes to make this happen. And so that's going to be happening all the rest of this month. And there will be amusing prizes.
Amusing prizes? Tell us what they win.
You win a chance to join us. Seriously. One of the things that we tend to give away is a free consultation, which we draw from everybody who's donated. We will put everybody's name in a hat. I have the hat right up there. We shake it up. Noor sticks her hand in and draws because she's better at that than I am. And whoever is there is going to get a free 1 hour consultation with either of us.
Mm-hmm.
Or both of us together if you're really lucky, though I don't hold your breath on that one.
Yeah, so you get to choose. Yeah. And it doesn't bother us either way. We want to give you what you would like to do, what you need, all that stuff.
Yep. And we don't care what you donate. We suggest between $1 and $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So anywhere in between there is great.
So
And
that would mean
there
a
we
lot
have
to
it.
us. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
it would help us keep the lights on and the doors open and the computers running. So
Mm-hmm.
you can find a link down below, a Zoom link that says donate here. So there's that. That takes care of, I think, all of the business. There will be other amusing prizes as well that we will announce.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Onward then, shall we?
Yeah. Back to you, Noor.
So, it's funny we're talking about attention. That is our topic this evening. We are talking about civilization and the crisis of attention. I believe that is our working title.
That is our official working title, yes.
Yes.
I thought it was kind of catchy.
I like it. And it's funny because we both got our COVID shots this week. So, you know, our attention is requiring us to put some work in. And we will be using the principles that we're talking about this evening to do our best to be present here. You know, this is stuff we have to do all the time, all of us, despite all the obstacles that come up, all the distractions, all the things that want to pull us away from the present moment.
Yes.
So Mushtaq. Where do we want to begin?
We're going to begin with a story. Once upon a time, long, long ago, in a land far, far away, I lived pretty much in the forest. The forest was on the side of a whole mountain range called the Rockies. And in this forest was me and my teepee, and there were elk and coyotes and skunks and martens and porcupines and bears. Now, you may not know about bears. If you're just a regular person who doesn't live with bears, you might not know about them. But here's the thing about bears. You look at them and they're like big and they're loud and they're smelly. Bears are actually kind of smelly. But you can be in the woods and there can be a bear on the other side of that bush and you won't see him because bears are also sneaky. Bears are very, very sneaky. And so, in order to not be eaten by bears, you can't be looking for them. You have to listen for them. Because even bears, at 250, 300 pounds, they tend to make a little noise when they walk and snuffle and do all of those other things that bears do. And so here you are, you're walking around in the woods doing whatever you're doing. Maybe you're looking for service berries to harvest or looking for a tasty elk or deer to eat. And you don't see a bear, but you hear crackle, crackle, crackle over somewhere. Now, if you are me anyway, you will be totally distracted from looking for the tasty bit of meat for your table and going, what was that? And you will move into a completely defensive posture and scan with eyes and ears and nose until you locate what made the sound and either A, make sure it wasn't a bear, or B, if it was a bear, make sure that you have an exit that gets you out of there without being et. Now, this is a skill that our ancestors developed millions of years ago to put the priority on our hearing. So much so that when a baby is born, when a baby is born, not all of their senses develop at once. This is true of most animals. Dogs, for instance. When a dog is born, the first sense that they connect with is touch. They can feel their mother. The second sense that they connect with is smell. This is important because without that sense of smell, they don't find the nipple that they need to use to drink their mother's milk. Then their hearing comes online. And then, and only then, couple weeks down the road, their vision comes online. That's how a dog works. Humans work differently. A human baby will also have touch be its first sense. But the second sense of a human baby is hearing. The third sense is sight. And then the fourth sense to come online is smell, which is good because if you've ever been around a baby with a full diaper, you know that they don't want to experience that. So smell takes a while. So why would we put such a primacy on hearing? Because we are going to hear that which might want to eat us before we are going to see it. You're going to hear the tiger before you see the tiger. When you see the tiger, it looks like that. And that's like a little bit too late. But if you hear the crackling in the brush over there, 100 yards away, or even 50 yards away, you might be able to escape the tiger. And we like this. Does that make sense so far?
Thumbs up if you're just following along so far.
Yeah. Okay. So
Good.
no matter what you are doing, sound will distract your attention under normal circumstances from what you are seeing. You can teach yourself to just zone out a sound, turn it off in your mind, in which case you won't notice it. That happens in city life all the time. When I lived in Tanzania, I lived in a town called Arusha. And I lived on the corner of Market Street and Sekone Road, which is like right downtown. Market Street was literally the street that the big, huge open-air market was on. And down below the apartment building that I lived in was it was sort of a bus stop. They don't have like regular buses. They have these things that they call matatus, which are these basically vans. And 5 to 10 of them would park down on the corner, blare their horns, and scream out where they were going until they got enough people to make it worthwhile to take off. This went on from 6 in the morning till about 9 o'clock at night. The first week I was there, it was maddening. And then finally my brain went, screw this, and turned it off. So I just didn't notice it anymore. If I paid attention to it, it would be there. But if I didn't pay attention to it, that sound was just off in the back somewhere. And what was interesting is that if in the daytime the sound stopped, I would notice that. What's going on? You look out the window and there's a fight going on down there between two drivers or something, and everybody stops so that they can cheer on the fight. Why am I telling you all this?
Yeah, why are you telling us all this?
Because I want you to get the idea that distraction of attention is inevitable. You are going to be distracted. And this is not something that you want to give up. It's what you do with the distractions. What we tend to do with the distractions as normal, urban, modern human beings is follow the distractions. So I'm sitting here and I'm working. My phone dings, right? Pick up my phone and I see that somebody has said something on Facebook. And so I have to go and I look at that, and then that leads to another thing, and it leads to another thing, and I'm going, oh my God, what the hell am I doing, spending all of my time looking at this crap on Facebook? And so instead I look at something on YouTube, and an hour later I look down and go, oh, my fingers should have been typing on the keys of my keyboard as I'm writing the stuff that I'm supposed to be writing. That's how, that's theft of attention.
Yes, which gets us to the crisis, doesn't it?
Yes, that does get us to the crisis. Part of the crisis is I just went all blurry. Focus, focus. Here I am. Look, focus. There we go. Sometimes you just got to make fun of this stuff. Technology.
That's how we're
I'm
staying
still,
focused. Yes.
Yeah.
Humor.
Humor. So, I'm still out of focus. Come back there. There's my hand. It always gets weird colors, weird backgrounds. Keep going, keep going. And there he is. Back in focus again. It's like magic. That's how your attention works. You get distracted, then you come back. So, we are hardwired to distraction. Distractions at one point in the existence of the species were absolutely necessary to keep us alive, because the guy who sits there and focuses on making the flint arrowhead to the exclusion of everything else is the first guy to get hit in the head with a club by the marauding guys from over the hill, because he didn't see him coming. So we are hardwired as a matter of being safe to not focus all the time. Now, you couple this with time perception. I've talked about this before, and there will be links. We do not experience continuous time, according to all of the great neuroscientists in the world right now, and according to some very, very ancient sages. What we experience is discrete slices of time. And sometimes the slice that we have will be thick so that there won't be very many slices of them. Sometimes they will be very, very thin so that there are a lot of slices of them. And the way I like to describe this is if I were making an animation, I can get away with making an animation, a drawn animation, using 15 frames a second. And it will look like everything's moving. Look at old Disney cartoons and you'll see what we're talking about there, the ones that haven't been remastered. If I do 40 frames a second, the movement gets really crisp and clear. But they are each discrete slices. Those 40 frames, which will happen within the second, which is about the high end of what we can normally experience. We will experience between 15 and 40 frames per second, according to our consciousness. And of course, it's not actually frames, but that's the way I talk about it, because I used to be an animator, so it makes sense to me. Now, each of those frames can either have a presence of attention or absence of attention. So you have, say, the average 20 frames per second. That gives you a pretty good rate of seeing the world. Of those 20, usually only 10 are going to have your attention on them. This is not me saying this. This is like heavy-duty neuroscience. And Nora will tell you that I have made her and me listen to the neuroscience and read the neuroscience for this whole damn week in preparation for this talk.
We are very passionate about that this week, yes.
Yeah.
Yay, science.
So, if I am getting 20 slices of time per second which gives me my perception of the world as a moving, living place. And of those 20, I'm aware of 10. What does that do to the resolution of my world picture? This is not a rhetorical question. What do you think? Assuming that I'm telling you something that's actually, in some sense, true. This is all a model. I am not telling you that you have to believe this as objective reality. I'm telling you that this is the model that we use, and it works really well for us. And we're going to teach you how to use it before this night is through.
So what's the question again, though?
Question? What question?
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
I forgot. See, I got distracted.
Yeah.
Question is, what does it do to our resolution of our awareness of the world?
There
Doesn't
we
mean I
go.
have an
Thanks.
answer.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I
see,
appreciate
somebody
that,
was
Nancy.
paying attention.
Right. Yes. So how about the rest of you? Anyone gonna want to take a stab?
Yeah, what do you think? What does it do to your resolution?
David,
to
what do you
us.
think?
Makes it more dim or lower resolution.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Fuzzier. That's the word that comes to my mind.
And more jerky. And those jerks are moving in and out of your awareness of the present moment. Now, because we are conditioned to follow those points of inattention, we can get totally lost and have no frames of objective reality or what passes for objective reality with us human beings, and have it be entirely subjective, which is to say you're lost in your memories, or you're lost in your feelings, or you're lost in projection into the future, in which case you lose all of the resolution on the real world of here and now, and the bear gets to eat you. I am planning on doing a t-shirt that people will be able to buy, which will be a cool meditating guy sitting there looking all om and everything, and a bear coming up behind him with big huge jaws and slavering and all of this kind of stuff. Nobody but you guys will know what it means, but it'll be funny to you, and that's all that counts.
So bear has changed now and it's become mobile phone.
Yeah, there's something to be said about that. Did you catch that, Mushtaq?
I didn't catch it all.
So, it's not the bear now so much as the mobile phone.
Oh yes, it is the mobile. The mobile phone is the bear. And the thing you have to realize, and this is what I said in the description of this, is that attention is the coin of the realm. Companies like Google and Facebook and all of these other social media companies mine attention. It is what makes them money. And they will do anything that they can to keep your attention on them. And for every minute that your attention is on them, they make money. Whether you know it or not, because they're constantly feeding you ads within all of these wild, amusing things that they put on for you.
So they're using a survival mechanism against us for their financial gain.
Mm-hmm. And we fall for it hook, line, and sinker because they're really, really good at it. And they are stealing our attention, and they are turning us into people who have attention deficit disorder. Now, there are two kinds of attention deficit disorder. And I don't mean ADD and ADHD. You can lump those together. There is the kind that is caused by an organic problem. Something is wrong in your head. Your brain is out of balance in some way, or you have a lesion or something like that.
neurochemical stuff.
Neurochemical, yeah. And it's a real thing. And it is miserable and painful and horrible. And people who suffer from this are usually really not terribly happy, and they benefit from medication. There are medications that can help them balance out the hemispheres of their brain and do all of this stuff.
Yeah, medication, accommodations.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
And there are people who have induced ADD. Think about that, induced ADD. You have been infected with a purely psychological attention deficit disorder in order to keep you flipping from thing to thing to thing and not focusing on anything. Now, at one time I would have said this was just sort of accidental, but it's not. You can go out and take courses from people on how to foster this. It's called advertising courses. And attention is the capital of the new economy. You know, we're going to have to, I mean, the Marxists are screwed at this point because their idea of labor and capital is no longer in effect. They need to like redo it all, rethink it all into something that's 21st century like, because Karl Marx could have never imagined this world. And same with the capitalists. I mean, the reason that the people who have been investing in Bitcoins are making fortunes right now is because they caught on that all you have to do is keep the attention on the Bitcoins.
You know how I heard it described recently?
How's that?
That, you know, crypto is Mary Kay for bro dudes.
Yeah. And there is some truth to that.
I thought there was. I mean, you know, every person has their own relationship to the stock market and crypto and whatever, but that's kind of what I feel you're talking about is like this attention grabbing. Oh my God, I don't want to miss out. I need to do this. And people take huge risks on that.
Yeah. And people lose huge amounts of money. I watched a lot of people who are fairly smart lose money over the last year in the stock market because they got excited and their minds got caught in what was going on in this moment and not looking at what was coming down the pike in a few moments before.
Yeah.
That's when I shut down all of our stock buying, was when I looked down the pike and I went, this is going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not invest any money right now. We'll shift our investments into something else.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, $300 worth of stocks. We're not talking a lot of money, but still, it's not money that I would care to lose because of stupidity.
Ooh, I see Cherie is unmuted. She has thoughts.
Cherie should have thoughts on this. Cherie knows about this stuff.
Well, we used to say in the futures market, as soon as we see the mums and dads are in, we're out.
Yeah.
Because they're so late on the trend that they're the ones that we're going to just take the whole market out with. And that's really sad because you're just witnessing people lose their pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Really, really fast. And people are sold and marketed to that it's easy, that they don't have to do a quick course, come and do this seminar, this seminar, this seminar, make money, you know, buy all kinds of funky names. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're saying now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it always hurts.
It sucks in, and people are made to believe that they're actually become an instant expert.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. And that easy? Really? Really? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and by the way, for those of you who don't know, this is said by somebody who actually was an expert in the field when she was doing that. We know about that, Cherie. You can't hide.
Yeah, well, I actually walked away, never to look back on another chart for 5 years, because the addiction to watching 24/7 is such that you do feel like you miss out. What happened in the market? What happened all around the world? You're watching this all the time, and you've got to have a feel for it all the time. You become that thing, you merge into that thing. Your awareness is not your own.
Yeah. And that intuition, that skill you build up doesn't come out of nowhere. It's something that you build because you're so focused on all the little minutia of what's going on all around the world. Yeah.
And if you don't have the right answer most of the time, they'll drop you like a hot potato. And it's devastating. You see people who had some kind of talent that they tried to foster, but it burnt that person so badly, and they got lost in their own ego, thinking they can actually make these really big decisions, and lost so much money. I mean, the Lehman Brothers thing. Oh my God. You know, just the way people can actually only see the outside, and they can't see the turmoil that's happening inside. And you watch people in the market where the turmoil is such that it manifests in really, really horrible diseases, and they lose their perspective so badly. And just fortunately, I was blessed enough to say, I'm going to walk away for a year and see what I really want to do, because I couldn't make my decision when I was in it. So you talk about being distracted. I was right down that rabbit hole, but there was something in me that said, I can't see what I really want while I'm in this. And I can see that with distraction. When you get pulled that way, and if you're not aware of it, the magnetism of it is so powerful. It's like a riptide.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, rip. You understand a rip? Yeah, rip. Yeah. And if you're really going to fight it, you can't really fight it head on. You've got to go sideways. Step off.
Yeah. And so the market becomes the
Thanks,
bear.
Sri.
The whole different meaning of the bear market. That's a stock joke.
Well, you can be run over by the bull as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we could talk horror stories about that for a while, but then it would take 2 hours to do this talk. So we're going to, I am forcing myself not to be distracted. So, slicing time. You want to slice time as thinly as possible, which you do with awareness. And you want to enliven your time with your attention. So presence is what causes time to be thinly sliced or thickly sliced. By the way, slicing time, I wish I could claim that term, but I stole it from Terry Pratchett because it was just the best possible term I had ever run across for what we're talking about. So credit to Terry. Sir Terry is a wonderful human being, most brilliant writer of his time. We miss him, alas. So, first, use your presence to get those slices of time together, nice and thin. Then use your awareness to be in the slice. How do we do that? I mean, this is the bottom line. How do we do that? We have to train ourselves to it. Attention is like, I say it's like a muscle. It's like any muscle that you ever use. If you want a muscle to get stronger, you use it. And if you want it to get stronger even more, you use it against a certain amount of resistance. This starts for us in this way, simple breathing exercises. We say over and over again, our path is founded in the breath. There's a number of reasons for this, but this is one of them. Let me ask you to do an experiment here. I'm going to ask you to take 5 natural breaths. You don't have to do any counting, no long, no short, nothing. Just breathe in and breathe out. Actually, let's do 10 because you guys are pretty clever. So I'm actually going to switch our view to Brady Bunch view so that we can all see this. And what I'm going to ask you to do is close your eyes. Don't do it yet. Close your eyes and take just 5 breaths and keep your attention only on your breaths, on the in-breath and the out-breath, until you are distracted by any thought other than your breath. And when that happens, open your eyes. So let's begin with closing our eyes. Then take a breath in and a breath out. And you count yourself, or you just do as many breaths as you can. And yes, somebody's honest. There we go. There we go. Perfect. So that was probably 20 seconds worth of breathing, maybe a little bit longer, maybe 30 seconds. And assuming that you were all honest, so that's very good for some of you. It's very good for all of you, actually. Don't not get a compliment from me. That's the length of your attention under ideal circumstances. Right? Makes sense? So, we're going to do it again and make the circumstances slightly less ideal. So, close your eyes and start breathing. Attention only to breath until something distracts you. So, Noor, what are we going to have for dinner tonight?
We're gonna have soup.
Soup? What kind of soup do you want?
I want chicken noodle soup.
Chicken noodle soup. I don't want chicken noodle soup. Fortunately, I can make 2 different kinds of soup just as easily as I can make one.
Yeah, it's an easy night, huh? Because we're making stuff out of a
That's
can.
right. Out of a can.
Yeah. Do you want crackers with yours?
Crackers? Maybe. Or maybe something else.
We don't have any more pickles.
Alas.
Those are good.
But I don't want a pickle.
You just want to ride your motorcycle.
Yep. You notice how much harder that was? That was harder, wasn't it? So, what did we learn from this?
This was hard. This was harder, but then still we were aware that distraction would be coming and we have to focus on this. But then in normal life, we are not aware that distraction would be coming and then we are just lost. Yeah.
Yep.
So true. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I got distracted in the first round because I was thinking about all of you guys and wanting to like watch you. So I was like, I'm calling myself out. I'm going to open my eyes.
And she got distracted in the second round because I made her talk with me.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Sure.
So
I was going to say, because I was 100% honest with myself, I wasn't 100% aware as soon as I heard a sound.
Yeah.
That's it. So if you want 100%, then I'm going to open my eyes straight away.
Exactly.
I can have a split awareness, but I can't have 100%.
Yeah,
That's-
and that's why I started with that sound, because like I said, the ears take precedence.
Hmm.
I could sit here and wave at you guys and you're not even going to notice, but if I make a sound, your mind is going, what?
Mm.
Now, here's the thing. There was a study, I love these studies, done somewhere. We'll say it was at Stanford because we like Stanford, though maybe it wasn't. And it was
Yeah.
a study between meditators and non-meditators. And the meditators were doing Zen-like meditation of some form or another. A mindfulness practice, we would say now. And so what they would do is they'd have a bunch of people sitting, say the non-meditators, and they would say, all right, just sit there and be aware of your breath. And then they would ring a gong at random times. And what would happen with the non-meditators, because they had them hooked up to electrodes all over their head, is the first time the gong happened, it was like, what? You know, the brain waves were going up, and then eventually they would go back into their awareness of breath state. And then the second time it would happen, but it wouldn't be so long. And by the fourth or fifth time, they weren't even noticing the gong. They had edited the gong out of their awareness. Now with the meditators, when the gong went off, they got a blip of awareness, gong. And then the meditators were back. And these were guys who had been doing it for a long time. And no matter how long they kept the test going, that's what they got. Blip, back, blip, back. They never edited the sound out. It was as if it were fresh the first time and the last time, equally as fresh. But they didn't fixate on it. They noticed it and they went back to their meditation, which is what our brains are designed to do. We are not supposed to not notice the bear behind us. We're supposed to notice that. But once we hear the sound and go, oh, it's not a bear, you just go back to your focus.
So you let it go. I mean, maybe we'll head a little bit in this direction, but I'm wondering if, like, I guess there isn't a fatigue there because they're not fixating on it.
There is not going to be a fatigue in this. We'll
'Cause,
talk
you know,
about fatigue in a bit.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I figured we would.
yeah, let me go back to the speaker view here. So, how do you train yourself to that state? It's the same answer as how do you get to Carnegie Hall? How do you get to Carnegie Hall? The guy asked when he was on the streets of New York, and the person who he asked replied, practice. That's how you get to that state. You sit, you breathe, and when your mind is distracted, you notice that, and you just go back to the breathing. So I'm sitting here, and maybe I'll start thinking about dinner after this, then I'll notice, and I'll go, oh, back to breathing. I hear that car, and I go, back to breathing. I feel a twinge in my knee, and then back to breathing. That is the whole practice. That's like doing push-ups. And you will start with maybe 20 seconds of push-ups or less. And over time, you will build that up to where the length of time between distractions will become longer, and the length of time moving from distraction back into focus becomes shorter. And that's what you want. And eventually, you will get to the point of pretty continuous awareness-informed being. I'm not saying that that will be your permanent state forever and you will never be distracted, because who would want that? If I'm doing that, right? So here I am totally focused on my breath, and Nora comes up and she says something to me.
Hey, you. Hey, trash needs to be taken out or whatever. Hey,
And I'm still sitting here. And I'm not saying anything because I cannot be distracted by her. Or it might be something more important like, hey, the house is on fire.
then it's a real problem. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I can let you. Oops, I muted myself out of habit.
Yeah.
Alertness, come
Yes.
to me.
So you can let me skip taking the trash out, yes?
Yeah. But if the house is on fire, then, you know, that's an urgent issue that you need to be present for. Yep.
So now I know that you were all hoping for this incredible, mysterious, super secret Sufi, that's one word, super secret Sufi method of creating presence. But there is no secret. You can go and spend $10,000 for a workshop that will teach you how to do this, and they won't teach you anything different.
They might give it different words.
They would give it
Mindfulness
lots of special words,
training,
but
blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
But this is what it is. Start with sitting down, pay attention. When your attention wanders, gently bring it back with no blame.
That's key.
No blame at all. That's a very much the key. There is no failing this.
I think one thing we need to remember, and I'm glad you started out with this, is that this tendency to pull away is there for a reason. Ooh, Zainab's back.
Yeah.
But it becomes detrimental when we let it run the show. And so we can kind of, as I like to say, make friends with it and give it its rightful role, which is to keep us safe and to help us be conscious of things that are happening around us. But also we need to learn as well through training, because we don't typically get this discipline in our day-to-day lives now, on how to refocus.
Yes. And so you have to give it to yourself. Now, when you get kind of good at doing the sitting thing, you could do that for the rest of your life, and that would be fine. You will get great benefit out of that. But if you want to get more benefit out of it, the next stage of this is to do the same practice while moving. Start with walking. Our first precept is breathe consciously. Our second precept is watch your step, which means move consciously, be aware. And so using the skills that you've built up with just sitting and breathing consciously, you begin to move while doing this. And this is where exercises like the void practice comes in, because that allows you to have the kind of focus that will let you breathe and move in the world at the same time. And I should say at this point, there are basically three kinds of focus. You have sharp focus, and we can use the flashlight analogy. So sharp focus, you have a flashlight with a nice tight beam, and you shine it on the things that you want to see. This is sitting and breathing, just awareness of breath. Now, my flashlights have adjustable reflectors. So as I push the reflector in and out, the beam will get tight or it will get broad. And the wider the beam gets, the softer it gets. Tight is really sharp. Wide is soft. So we can call this sharp focus and soft focus. When I am moving in soft focus, I do not see the tiny discrete details that I would see in sharp focus, but I see a lot more. And equally as important, I will perceive movement more in the soft focus than in the sharp focus. The part of your eye that receives sharp vision, if you have like 260 degrees of focus that you can see, of vision, including the peripheral, about 2 degrees of that is your sharpest focus, center of your eye, more or less. When Noor and I got our new glasses, the guy was very careful to look at how our eyes were working and mark on these practice glasses exactly where our sharp focus was, because that's where these lenses will focus the sharpest. So where my eyes are when I'm looking directly forward through these lenses is my sharpest focus. Around the outside, not quite as much, but I don't need as much. And that's the difference between going to a real optician and these McDonald's sorts of places.
On the internets.
Yeah, or on the internets. Never get your glasses on the internets. Bad idea.
Live and learn. Live and
Yep.
learn.
So your second is your soft focus. Sharp focus, soft focus, and then there's a third kind of focus, which is a form of split attention, and the resolution will not be very good on it, but you will move in between different things. Multitasking ruins your focus and the resolution of your experience. There is no such thing as multitasking, actually. You're very quickly shifting between tasks. It's one of the things that a lot of people don't want to hear. They think, oh, I'm a great multitasker, and nobody is.
I think
The
people are
brain
learning.
science,
Yeah.
the brain science says, no, there is no such thing as multitasking.
Mm. So I saw Jonathan unmuted very briefly. Did you have a question or something you wanted to share?
Yes, thank you, Noah, I did. So I've noticed when I lose my attention, I can't say to myself, I'd like to get my attention back now. And then I can't say that to myself and bring it back.
No.
All I know is my attention is back. But if I have my attention, I am able to say, keep this attention, and struggle to keep it. So then if I'm right in, or if you share the same experience, my question is, what capacity in me, what function in me would be able to say to myself, wake up.
I am glad you asked that question. That's a very good question. As a matter of fact, that may be the gold star question of the night. And the answer is your intention. We have talked, Noor and I have talked before about the 3 facets of being, which are intention, attention, and presence. And we talked about attention and presence already. Intention is what brings you back on task when you have been distracted. Intention is time binding. It works outside of the moment. Right now, I set the intention, I am going to stay aware of my breath for the next 20 minutes. And so I'm here, and 20 seconds later, I notice that I'm thinking about soup, and I remember my intention, and it's actually a remembering. It's stored in the working part of your memory. Remember, focus on breath. Then it goes away, and my intention steps back in and says to me, focus on breath. So you're not saying to yourself in that sense, your intention is saying to you, which is a memory that you have dropped into your working memory. 3 kinds of memory. Everything is in 3s, go figure. Working memory, that's short-term memory. That's what you're using right now to listen to me and know what you're going to ask next. Long-term memory, when this is rich in your awareness and something really good happens or really bad happens, you store it in your long-term memory.
That's the stuff that sticks, yeah.
Yes, and executive memory. This is what you use to drive a car. All of your executive memories have to do with being able to function in particular ways. There's a really simplistic definition of these 3, but that's the latest neuroscience as far as I know. Is that useful, Jonathan, or am I just blowing smoke at you?
Perfect. Very useful. Thank you.
Good.
Jayesh now.
Yeah. So when I divide my attention, it is not a simultaneous division. It's like on and off, right? Outside and inside kind of thing.
It can be. There are 2 different ways to do this. You can divide your attention and switch it back and forth. Or you can expand your attention, taking that flashlight and pushing the reflector back until the beam is broad enough to hold both. So
Then
it's the idea.
Flashlight doesn't come back, right? It goes away from you.
Yeah, but it illuminates what you're seeing. So you're in a completely black room and you flip on your flashlight and you shine it ahead of you and you see a lamp. And that lamp is your focus. Now you pull the beam back a little bit and it gets wider and you see a lamp and the table that it sits on. And that can become one object given to your perception. You can see lamp table, or you can see lamp table. Does that make sense?
I'm asking regarding the attention which is falling back to me. So I'm aware of my own attention kind of thing.
Yes.
I'm seeing the object and I'm also aware of my own self seeing the object kind of thing.
Yep.
I think he's just kind of envisioning the flashlight, shining out.
Yeah, but no, you're right.
Yeah.
And this is also a good point. We call that the first attention is out in the world. The second attention is going inward. The third attention is the awareness of your attention, your being, and the world simultaneously. That's a whole different talk. That's like much more advanced than what we're talking about here. But you are absolutely correct.
I'm glad you asked that, because what we're talking about is more of a metaphorical functioning of the focus itself. But it's not necessarily, the visual is that pointing outward, but it's really everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're turning that same, broad or narrow focus on yourself as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And ideally, what we want is to be aware of ourselves and to be aware of the world.
Yeah.
That's self-remembering, right? To remember myself at all times while I experience the world.
Does that help clarify? Great. Good.
Yeah, we thought we were going to teach the beginners class, but we have some advanced students in here. So there you have it. First, strengthen yourself in the easiest way possible. And that is sit and be aware of your breath.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can do like the fundamental breath and hold on to your awareness of that. If you get a little practice of just being aware of your breath, the fundamental breath is easier. Then you practice walking. We love walking. In this path, we walk. We are the travelers. And then you can use the void practice to integrate your awareness. And then there's other stuff, but we can't tell you about that yet. It's secret.
Super secret Sufi stuff.
Super secret Sufi stuff. But if you make a donation, we might give you some super secret Sufi stuff.
So do you have anything else you want to add, or shall I want to check in with Zainab and Nancy as well?
Yeah, check in with everybody, because this is basically the presentation. And like I said, it's really very simple. There is no magic to it. Like I said at the beginning of the description, most often magic is just being aware.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with exercise. Like some of us love exercise, but a lot of us have to put in the work to even begin, and it's similar with this.
Yeah. Some of us have difficulty moving our bodies for various different reasons, and we have to overcome that.
Yep. And this is a skill that we all need to work on. This is something that we all could, stand to improve on. So
Yeah. So let's check in with everybody, see if everybody has more thoughts, and then wrap this up.
Shuri, what's up?
Oh, I was just going to, this could be a whole nother talk, but being aware of the things that we voluntarily take up that can impair awareness, like alcohol.
Yeah.
Electronic game or something. And as you said, the iPhone or a mobile phone, a smartphone, all those kinds of things. So I think that we can, we have to, if we choose those things, we have to have a very clear intention about how we're using that to keep our awareness. Otherwise, we just get lost in it and it can impair awareness.
Oh, yeah. And it can be almost as fatal as bears. I mean, think about all of the people who have died texting while driving.
True. Yeah. That's an interesting similarity to draw,
Yep.
Thanks, Shuri. So Nancy, how are you doing with this talk? Like, what's on your mind? If anything.
Well, various stuff. I mean, one thing that just hit me was that some of the distraction is actually an effort to be cooperative. That this person wants my attention. I should give them my attention. This is a bad reflex.
It is a very bad reflex. Probably most people do not deserve your attention.
Especially clickbait headline people.
Oh, God, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, the other thing that just occurred to me is it's not just people who die because of texting. Apparently, attention can be so weak that somebody loses control of their car because they were trying to adjust the radio. Or
their phone dropped down the side of the seat or something like that.
Yeah, which, arguably this is an intention issue as well as attention.
It's true. Yeah. Yep. Staying with your intention of like driving with your attention on the road and on the wheel and getting to where you're going, and not, oh shit, I should read that text message that I just got, that kind of thing. Yeah.
And well, there's another large topic is I think that the way education is done in mainstream culture is damaging to attention.
Oh, yeah. Dr. John Molina, who is a first-rate neuroscientist and wrote a book called Brain Rules, pointed out that if you wanted to create an environment that was completely unconducive to learning, it would look a whole lot like a modern classroom.
Yeah, Brain Rules. I should get that probably.
Brain Rules is a great little book.
Well, thanks for those thoughts, Nancy. That was good stuff. Yeah. Zainab, how about you?
Just a note on education. Yeah, I noticed when kids come home, they mention that they haven't finished the task for the term, and the term's over, but they haven't finished. That's a
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and probably the reason they haven't finished is because they get distracted by everything else.
Yeah. And that happens occasionally. Anyway, I had
Yeah.
another question.
Yes.
Relating to the three centers, would you say that the attention is related to the head center?
Attention can be all three centers working together.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah, at its best. And there is unconscious attention. This is what Gurdjieff says anyway. He says there can be unconscious attention. You just mechanically put your attention on these things every day. Facebook, YouTube, your favorite TV show, all of this kind of stuff. And it never has intention to it. And this is like the most toxic form of attention that I can think of. But you can have conscious attention, where you direct your attention to where it needs to be. And that's what we're talking about here, starting to develop that as a habit. Does that make sense?
Yep.
That's good. Anybody else have any extra thoughts or questions they want to share? David, are you good? Or you got other things you want to say? Or he's good.
He's good.
He's good.
All right.
I think we're all good. So why don't we
Yeah.
head on to Brady Bunch mode?
We're already there.
Awesome. And let's wave to everyone who's watching on the replay or, whatever. And we will see you next time.
Yes,
Take care.
and I will put links up to other talks that we've done that relate to this so that
Yeah.
you can expand your knowledge should you care to.
I have
if
a
you
little
have
list
enough
going.
attention.
So
Yeah.
I'll help you out with that.
All right, folks, take care.
See you next time. Bye.